Hey there, welcome back to the Smell of Logic channel. I am Ramona. Today's Reddit story is Nerds of Reddit. What is the one interesting fact you wish everyone knew? This is probably going to be a little subjective, but here we go, right? How to be nice. Why do people have so much trouble doing it? When someone said, that's not a fact, dumbass. Is it really that hard to not insult the other person when a conversation, debate? Well, it's not a fact, but it is something that would be nice if people paid attention to. Anyway, Forget-Me-Not was an amazing X-Men character. Google it. We're all made of stardust. Peeing outside is good for the environment. Pigeons have tiny magnets in their heads. I don't think that's true, but okay, we'll go with it. All the planets could fit in between Earth and the Moon. Again, I think some of these are not quite true, so take them with a damn grain of salt. Maybe a shaker. There's an immortal fungus that eats radiation and thrives inside Chernobyl. A French writer hasn't won the Tour de France since 1985. Everyone probably knows this, but food poisoning is not poison in a classic sense. More often, it's an infection from bacteria that contaminated the food that makes people sick, not an ingredient in the food itself. It could also mean contamination by virus or parasites. And ringworm is not a worm, it's a fungus. The midichlorian is the powerhouse of the cell. I wish everyone understood and valued the importance of art and knowledge more. You can say that people do, but the general population does not. They do not value art. They value content. They do not value knowledge. They value their own egos. The average person is so effing stupid, it makes me so angry sometimes. Also, I wish more people appreciated how awesome Sonic is. Just throwing that out there. And someone replied with, I hate it when people say the average person is stupid. No, the average person is of average intelligence. What you're really saying is you think you're so smart that you're superior to everyone else. And this went on, so we're just going to ignore it, but there you go. Rhode Island is the only remaining U.S. state celebrating Victory Day. Also, the person who forcibly opened up Japan, Matthew Perry, was born in Rhode Island as well. I'm not sure what that means. Don't zig when you should have zagged. I don't know if that's a fact, but the internet is not a monolith. You're not seeing a bunch of people being hypocrites. You are seeing different people having different opinions. This also means people have different experiences and opinions from you. Of course, there are still hypocrites, just not as many people think. There is a species of jellyfish that can potentially live forever. After leaving DC Comics, Alan Moore of Watchmen fame created one of the greatest comic book series of all time in Tom Strong, which he regards as one of the best stories he's ever written, and is one of the few he seems to have truly enjoyed writing, like his inner child came out. It's a delightful read, and I'm always disappointed millions of people read Watchmen and The Killing Joke, but F it all know about Tom Strong. Well, I can't stand Watchmen, and I've never read The Killing Joke, and I've never heard of Tom Strong. But to be fair, I'm not the biggest Alan Moore fan, so there is that. That wasn't the Olympics. The Olympic that sank, it was the Titanic. Being alone for a little while is better than being around toxic people. Cockroaches can survive nuclear radiation with no issues. They can also continue living for up to a month without a head. Again, I don't know if that's true, but it sounds kind of crazy. The French comic anthology series Mittelherzland was way ahead of its time. Again, that's an opinion. Do you really? It's necessarily not a fact. We're kind of getting off topic here. I wish more people knew that pitch and rhythm are basically the same thing. Music, sound, design nerd. What you hear is musical notes is made up of frequencies, which are just a string of waves in the air. A frequency is defined by how frequently the waves of sound happen per second. But something interesting happens when we get to frequencies below 20 hertz. We stop hearing them as pitch, and we can start hearing the individual waves like a quick beat. The same happens in reverse. You take a really short sound, any sound, and start looping that sound many times a second and slowly increase the speed. Your brain will start perceiving an audible musical note. So basically rhythm, which at a fundamental level is just a consistent set of pulses of sound, speeds up to become pitch in our brains and vice versa. This is super interesting. We all know that light takes about 8 minutes to get from the sun to the earth, but if the sound of the sun's explosions could travel over the same distance in an atmosphere that would be around the earth, then it would take about 13 years and 4 months to get there. The sum of the square roots of any two sides of an isosceles triangle is equal to the square root of the remaining side. Nerds of Reddit, laugh out loud. Mastodons and mammoths are not the same. Mammoths are directly related to elephants. Mastodons are not. They branched off to something else. Technically, they're both extinct, so it doesn't matter. No, it matters, but you know. The highest ever recorded bird strike on an airplane occurred at an altitude of 37,000 feet. I don't know why you want everyone to know that, but now a few more people do. Fish feel pain and have a capacity to suffer. Worldwide, fish are treated so effing bad in the food system, in research, and in sport fishing. It's truly horrific what humans do to these lovely animals. Netflix wanted Blockbuster to buy them. That time that the British came up with an idea for a chicken-heated nuclear landmine. No, seriously. Piracy is rad. On average, Mercury is the closest planet to Earth. While Venus can get closer at times, Mercury spends more time in relative proximity to Earth due to its smaller orbit. Turn the device on and off again before calling me. Saturn actually screams. It's not even interesting. I just wish that people would understand graduated tax brackets. Jellyfish don't have brains. 33 more weeks until Christmas. Okay, no. Yeah. That the earth is not flat. Tomatoes are fruits and not vegetables. And someone replies with, they're both. Botanically, they are fruits, but culinarily, they are vegetables. That we're all made of stardust, literally. Apparently that's a thing. Our brains aren't VCRs recording everything perfectly. It's easy to misinterpret or fail to understand things, but it feels real because we think we're perfect recording devices. So many fights over things we've convinced ourselves that are the truth. The greatest wind speed ever recorded, not a tornado or hurricane, was 231 miles per hour. An American Civil War soldier was paid about $10 a month, an officer about $30 a month, and a general about $300 a month. They wanted to include Andrew Jackson's parrot in his funeral, but they couldn't. It wouldn't stop swearing. Pixels, images, and emails are used to spy on you. The notion that carrots improve night vision is an echo of a NATO disinformation campaign to explain why the Allies were able to effectively shoot down so many German bombers at night. The real reason we had technology breakthrough? Radar. And not the MASH character, although he was pretty cool. Jupiter, Zeus, Tyr, and a forgotten patriarch god of Hinduism, Dyaspita, all came from the single religion that ancient Indo-Europeans used to practice in the steppes of central Western Asia near the Caspian Sea, and that is where the monotheistic gods of Abrahamic religion set the tropes of bearded man with father. But in ancient times, this archetypical figure was paired with the mother goddess of nature. In time, that figure vanished, but Dyaspita lives on in Allah, father of Jesus, Elohim, etc. But it's a surprising connection between the Abrahamic and Abrahamist, I can't even say that one, and Hinduism, normally thought to be completely distinct and separate in roots. The moon is slowly drifting away. It won't cause any issues soon, but in a few hundred years. An average lightning, if captured and stored, can supply power to a country the size of Africa for a very long time, except that Africa is not a country, it is a continent. Godzilla can fly if he wants to. At this point in time, AI cannot replace all jobs, as some deluded CEOs think. And here, we're going to end it with this one. That most facts on the internet are not true. Yeah, I think that's a good one for all of us to remember. That was a rather interesting thread. If it's supposed to be facts, I don't think we quite reached that level. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was entertaining and gave you a few minutes to, turn off your brain and focus on something else. But anyway, thanks for listening and watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.